I like our chances right now. All right, and apparently so did our opponent. What's going on, guys? If you want to support our content and pick up this month's amazing Patreon rewards, you can do so at patreon.com/itresolves. If you're interested in custom playmats and sleeves, visit YourPlaymat.com and use code ItResolves10YP for 10% off your entire purchase. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another standard gameplay video. I hope you guys are doing exceptionally well today. I'm actually having to re-record a gameplay video solely because of the new ban restricted announcement, which got rid of a card that was actually played in the deck that was supposed to go up today. So we're recording a bit early, but that's okay, and I'm excited to do this. So just a reminder, guys, please make sure you subscribe if you're not already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. It really does mean a lot to us. And if you subscribe, you're entered to win some free Neon Dynasty cards. So please check that out. All details are on our website, as well as in a video here on our YouTube channel. But let's talk about today's deck. This is a Selesnya Life Gain Landfall style deck. So it's a bit of an odd one. It's kind of mixing two strategies in a way that I just thought was fun. So the goal of today's deck is just to have some fun. Just enjoy the silliness that is the Landfall / Life Gain mechanics. Maybe we get a win, maybe we don't. But this certainly has the potential, at least, to go over the top, and we'll talk about how. So obviously, the goal is to gain some life. So with that in mind, we've got things like Lunarch Veteran, we've got the Righteous Valkyrie, we've got the Sigarda Splendor. All of these are going to help us, gain some life. Even at the top end, we've got Valkyrie Harbinger, which is a really powerful card and obviously works very well in tandem with things like Righteous Valkyrie. So we're going to do our best to kind of get this going and make sure that we're gaining life throughout. Adeline's going to spit out some extra creatures for us, as well as the Scute Swarm with the Landfall trigger. And this is kind of where the Landfall comes in, is to really bolster up the board. The goal is to produce as many creatures as like physically possible between Scute Swarm as well as Felidar Retreat, gaining life in the process with Lunarch Veteran, triggering the Valkyrie Harbinger, which triggers the Righteous Valkyrie. I hope that makes sense. So the goal is to gain as much life as we can. Voice of the Blessed is going to hopefully gain a little bit of counters as we go, and hopefully become a really big, powerful threat. Yasharn is going to smooth out our land drops a little bit. This also helps kind of shut down certain things like paying life, as well as sacrificing non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities, which may not be that relevant, but occasionally will come in handy. We do have Wrenn and Seven here. This is going to allow us to drop a lot of lands at one time, or just spit out a giant tree folk, which could obviously win the game on its own, or just be really helpful. And then in the top end here, as well as the Harbinger, we also have Storm the Festival, just as a 3-of, not the full 4, but we've got plenty of really good options to hit with it, so hopefully we can get that out. And then we do have an Emeria's Call as well, just to give everything else indestructible if we need to. So very, very interesting deck here. We do have 2 Field of Ruin to help trigger not only the Scute Swarm, but deal with opposing man lands, and then 2 Cave of the Frost Dragon. Obviously, we are skewed a bit more towards white, and so the goal is to kind of have that early in the game. But with that being said, this is going to be an interesting one, guys. This is a deck of my own creation, so it is a bit silly. As you guys know, most of my decks tend to be, but we're going to have a fun time with it. So let's jump right in, guys. Let's see how it does. All right, guys, here we are for game number 1. And yeah, this is pretty easy keep. Very heavy on the life gain aspect, which is perfect. It looks like we might be up against a bit of a mirror match here as well, which is perfectly fine with me. One thing to note, only clerics and angels trigger the Righteous Valkyrie, so just something to keep in mind here. We will see, you know, something like an Adeline might spit a little token out, but that does not trigger the Valkyrie. Now, it does trigger the Lunarch Veterans, so just something to keep in mind there as we go through these games. But let's go ahead and play the green source. We'll go ahead and play the other Lunarch Veteran, and I think we'll just pass. I'm not going to worry about attacking in right here. We could trade off, and I'm actually okay with trading off here, but I'm going to save as much as I can to not have to worry too much about that. So we'll see what they do. Looks like they're emptying their hand out quite quickly here, which is perfectly reasonable to me. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, with that in mind, does that change the math? No, I think we still go for the Righteous Valkyrie play here. This is gonna set us up a lot better for the next few turns. So I think we're gonna go this route instead. They may have a way to answer some of this stuff, and that is okay. They even might get a good attack in here with that Voice of the Blessed, but it's kind of okay. Again, we've got our own Voice of the Blessed here that's hopefully gonna deal some massive damage later on in the game and potentially grow even quicker than theirs at some point. Looks like they're going to revitalize just to draw a card, gain some life, get another counter on that voice, which makes a lot of sense. Perfectly fine by me. All right, they're going to get a hit for 5 in. Good thing we're a life gain deck, because this really doesn't matter that much. We could block, I suppose. I think I do like that play. The reason being, crucially, this coming back actually doesn't hurt us at all. In fact, it gains us a life, 2 life really. But on top of that, we actually get a little added bonus here. So let's go ahead and do this first. Get our own Voice of the Blessed down. That's going to trigger these twice, so we're going to get 2 counters on this. Perfect. And we're gonna, this is what I'm saying. We actually get quite a bit going on here thanks to now gaining a lot more life from this Righteous Valkyrie. So this is perfect. Would love to get flying on here though, that's the trick. And we do have it. Okay, cool. Do we want to attack? I suppose we can attack with the Righteous Valkyrie. We do have to worry about their potential Righteous Valkyrie, so it's something that we do have to consider here. If they do have a way to deal with our own Voice of the Blessed, it's gonna suck, but it's kind of, it is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna stress too much about that. I think we do need to pressure them at some point, so that seems like the right play. But our Voice of the Blessed certainly outpaces theirs, at least at the moment, so hopefully we can keep it that way. I would love it if they didn't have like a pacifism. That'd be helpful. Now they can still attack in here and give this thing indestructible and a lifelink until the end of the turn, which is certainly a very good way to do it. But they obviously then lose this on the back end, so we'll see. We will see. I like our chances right now. All right, and apparently so did our opponent. We got the win, guys. That was a pretty quick win. Heck yes, we're amazing. Let's jump into game 2. All right, guys, here we are for game number 2. Unfortunately, this hand is a little slow. I'm kind of thinking we need to mulligan this one. Let's send that back. Yeah, this is much better. We can send one of these Sigarda Splendors back, and I think that's okay. But this is certainly a very powerful hand. One thing I want to talk about through this game number 2 here is the banned and restricted announcement that came out just a couple days ago on the 25th. This should be out on the 27th, which I believe is going to be the day that this actually takes effect. And so just be aware as we go through these games, you will still see cards that were banned because I am recording this a little bit early. But the reason I'm doing this is obviously, as I mentioned, because we recorded a deck that had Divide by Zero in it. And I didn't really want to put that out, especially the day that it actually takes effect as a ban, so that wouldn't be very fair to you guys. So we're re-recording, but we did have 3 bans, and blue decks really took a hit, man. Divide by Zero, which is a big one, and then as well, Alron's Epiphany, both of which are absolutely powerhouse cards, so I'm very interested to see how this goes, but or how this shakes up the meta, but very, very interesting to me to see both of these go. Alron's Epiphany makes a lot of sense. Divide by Zero does make sense to me, just its prominence in the meta is massive, and so it does make some sense, but it is an interesting time in Standard where we're getting more and more bans like this, and I don't really know how to feel about them, just because, you know, we've already had a lot of complaints about bans and things like that in the past, and it's not really great to have more of that, so it is interesting to see this happen. We did also have Faceless Haven banned, which is a pretty big man land to ban, but again, very powerful, and I do understand that one as well. But regardless, just lots of changes coming down the line here, and certainly some interesting ones. So just some things to think about for you guys. We're actually gonna go this route so that way we can, yeah, there we go. Easy win. Let's talk more about this in game number 3. All right, guys, here we are for game number 3. This is a very interesting hand. So obviously on turn 3, we really start to take off, but I don't want to keep that, I don't think. This we can keep. It's not ideal, but we've got a couple of plays here and we can certainly get further in. That's very nice to see that. We can get that Voice of the Blessed down pretty early here. But yes, so 3 bannings in Standard. There were other bannings like Ragavan and I believe Legacy, is that correct? And then Time Lapse was also banned in Historic, which is quite interesting. Lots of interesting stuff in this announcement. Teferi Time Raveler, I think, was rebalanced as well. Just kind of interesting and unbanned in Historic. But anyway, all that to say, this is a very interesting announcement. I don't know how I feel about it. Obviously, it's not a bad thing to have some bannings. Like, we need some of those occasionally, but it does kind of suck to have that when you really, you know, like, a standard banning never feels good, I guess is my point. And so it always feels a little bad when something like that happens. You just kind of have to go with it and hope for the best. We'll see how that actually pans out, but not sure I'm sold on it. Interesting, they drew a card here and gained some life. They may not have a 3rd land, which is good for us. Next turn, we probably just drop the Sigarda Splendor, because that really is going to open up some life gain potential for us. They may have some ways to kill creatures. I'm not sold that they're going to have a lot of ways to kill enchantments, so anything that we can get down that really piles on that life gain on the enchantment end would be very good. Okay. So we're going to take that opportunity to kill both of those, or the Voice of the Blessed, perfectly fine. We're going to get an extra land drop there, and we're going to drop that Sigarda Splendor. I will attack. There's no reason really not to. We're not going to block with the Scute Swarm for obvious reasons. But next turn we can drop Voice of the Blessed and not only gain a life, but then get a counter, of course, immediately on it, which is hugely beneficial. And just drop a land, which apparently is something our opponent can't seem to do at this point. Okay, so they do kill the Scute Swarm. That's frustrating, but not the end of the world. Don't love it, of course, but we can certainly make do here. There's a Cleric class, that's certainly good. And they're gonna attack him for 3. I'm not gonna block. I'm just gonna let it happen. We could have saved the card draw there, but I really don't think we need to. Let's go ahead and drop this down. Would have really loved another white source here, but that's fine. Why did I? Oh, okay, pardon me. So as we play this, we gain the life. It has not hit the battlefield yet, so I just want to make sure that we understand that's why that did not get a counter, which is fine. We can deal with that. And we'll see what the opponent wants to do. They are, I guess, really stuck on lands though, which is interesting. They do have Catilda, obviously, which does kind of help them out a good bit, but just interesting, very interesting. If we do draw a land off the top, we've got Valkyrie Harbinger coming down, which is certainly a powerful card. Do we want to double block here? I actually think yes. May not be the right call, I don't know, but I'm gonna take the kill while we can get it before that thing gets a little too crazy. Interesting. Okay, so we did not get what we needed. Ooh, don't love that. I mean, I think we just play the Lunarch Veteran here. We could have played the Voice of the Blessed, but I don't actually think that that's the way to do it. This is going to be a problem. Fall of the Imposter. Not a card I expected to see. I've not seen this card, like, ever being played, which is interesting. But hey, I mean, it's working out for them. They're certainly getting some counters across, and obviously they're going to be able to deal some massive damage here. Oran Reef Ooze, huh? Okay. I'm going to say no blocks. I'm going to take the 4. Felidar Retreat. Again, would be a very good card if we had a land, but unfortunately we're actually just getting stuck on the lands here at this point, which is kind of annoying. We do get to gain a little bit of life here, but obviously this is just gonna die with the Fall of the Imposter here. So exile target creature with greatest power among the creatures they control. Yeah, I mean, we can't do anything about that, but we could have, I guess, waited to play, but I think we kind of just needed to do something. The Lunarch Veteran does gain us some life here as well, so I'm kind of okay with keeping that. Interesting. Felidar Retreat would be quite good, but We need the land. I mean, that's just the reality of it. They might pay 1 here, yeah. Just to bolster up this board, which is certainly a good call from them. I think we just block here. I mean, kind of have to. And still no land. Oh my gosh, well, we just die. Fair enough, we're gonna go ahead and concede here, guys. Let's jump into a game 4. We got some time, so let's make that happen. All right, guys, here we are. This is our game number 4, and will probably be our last game, just because these obviously are gonna go for a little while here, and we've been going for about 20 minutes, so we will keep this going. That's actually quite good. Let's go that route. And I'll just go ahead and drop this as a green source. I like this play better than playing the Voice of the Blessed. It does kind of set us behind a little bit, but I think in total, it's actually a better option for us. Let's go ahead and drop that Righteous Valkyrie. And we'll just pass. This is gonna hopefully block out the Moon Dancer here a little bit. And then next turn, we can just drop Sigarda Splendor if we want. Which I think might just be the play. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'm not going to attack here. We're playing defensively until we can really go all out. Now, they are playing Snowlands. We do have to assume that means they might have like a Blizzard Brawl or something. Instead, they just are going to Doomscar, which is quite good, but we actually get to draw an extra card off of this, which is very helpful for us. And I think the play is actually going to be to do this. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna drop the big 6/6, or excuse me, 5/5 here, and we'll see if this actually pans out for us. It may not, but this actually gives us 2 pathways to attack, so we can actually utilize this every turn, which is better obviously earlier on. But then next to that, we also get a little bit more longevity with the creature token, so that seems reasonable. Let's look at the top 4. Let's get some lands, hopefully. Maybe not. Okay, fair enough. All right, so let's do this. It's gonna gain us a life. Let's do this. Gonna gain us some more life, which is fantastic. We're not going to, if your life total reduced instead equal to your life total, double your life total. Whew. That is very good, but I think we're gonna pass. Flying and double strike. Now, keep in mind, this has reach, so we can block this. They're gonna destroy all creatures. Fascinating. Okay. That's very interesting to me. So we've got some options here. Let's do this. We'll drop this, which is gonna obviously gain us a life. Or excuse me, get us a little token here. And I think I'm just gonna plus this up again, hoping to get a few extra lands. Yeah, okay, good. All right, well, again, we're just kind of pushing it as much as we can here. They are gonna get the Moon Dancer back, which isn't that good. We get to draw 2 extra cards here. Ooh, Storm the Festival is perfect. Okay, let's Storm the Festival first. Perfect. There's another Scute Swarm. Ooh, Yasharn is quite good. Okay, so this is going to be a really fun play. So what we're able to do here is get all of these, right? We've got tons and tons of land. Let's drop all of them. Oh, no. No. Oh, my gosh. I submitted 0. I submitted 0. I am the worst kind of person. Why would I do that? Why in the world would I do that? It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm such an idiot. I am such an idiot. I'm gonna oops. That was an oops. Okay, but we still won. Yeah! That was such a mistake. Could you imagine? I'm really upset about that. All right, let's talk about this deck. All right, so first and foremost, look at this little llama over here. You see this? That's my guitar pick llama. It's literally just full of guitar picks. Anyway, that was hilarious. Obviously, some big mistakes on my end, but still, out of 4 games, I think we won 3, which is pretty good. for a deck that's kind of mixing two strategies, right? Like the Life Gain strategy is a tried and true classic. We know that that one is good. We even know that the Landfall deck is very good because of Scute Swarm and things like that. So we know that that one's solid. But melding the two together is something that, while we do see bits and pieces kind of together, this felt like a more 50-50 split to me. And maybe that's not 100% true. Maybe you feel differently, but to me, that was kind of the build of the deck. And it seemed to work pretty well. That's all I'm saying. 3 out of 4 is pretty good. So I'm very happy with this one. I do think it's a little bit silly, a little bit janky, not great, but definitely decent. And so I do recommend trying this one out. It was really fun to build and play. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to enter to win some free cards and support the channel. But until the next time, guys, I'll see you later. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic weekend.